G'day folks, this is Angela from Tarot as Art, coming to you today on a precious afternoon off. It's the winter solstice in the Antipodes in Melbourne. It's an absolutely freezing day. The light isn't great in the afternoon, but let's see. The tarot tag I'm going to do is Simon from the Hermit's Cave. He did a great tarot tag. 10 decks never leaving my collection, and if he can do, I think he's got over 1,000 decks. If he can do it, I can do it. I haven't got nearly as many decks. I'm not a prolific buyer of decks. I don't do enough videos for anyone to bother sending me a video to show, and that's because I do spend a lot of time working, and when I'm not working, videoing does take a lot out of me, so I need to give it some time. I'm not a natural video creator. In saying all of that, here I am. What's made me do it is because I am doing a current mini renovation in the house. And because I'm doing a mini renovation in the house, I have a box. That box is, if I just had to run out of the house, these are decks that, it's not so much irreplaceable, but I just don't want to lose these decks. So these decks are never going to leave my collection because they're not going anywhere. I'm not prepared to get rid of them, right? But let me tell you something. The real thing that made me think that wasn't even this box situation which I've got going, is Marco Benedetti's Visconti Homage, which I think I did the Red Wedding, was the last video. Now, I had someone reach out to me. I'll start with this deck. We're doing 10 of them, 10 decks, right? I had someone reach out to me because they saw it on my Instagram. Right, there it is. It's made out to me. Marco's brilliant to deal with, just brilliant. The gorgeous backs. Won't bother edging, doesn't need it. It's white borders. I do edge a lot of them. I just want to get in a bit closer so you guys can have a good look at everything. Now, I did have a collector, and he was from Japan, and he reached out to me on Instagram and gave me an insane offer to sell this deck, which got me thinking. It's very hard. Let me just do this. Which got me thinking, right? Okay, he's willing to part with quite a bit of money to get this deck. I don't know if this is still available or not, but Marco did a print this year. I got one. Maybe it's over. I don't know. And then I said, no, look, I'm not interested. And, you know, the usual, okay, you name me a price, any price. And I could see he was serious. And I said, I don't have a price. It's not, there's no price on it. It will not be sold. He was very polite about the whole thing, I've got to say. Quietly polite, but it took a while for him to understand that I wasn't prepared to pay, to receive even in the thousands. And when I say in the thousands, I mean in the thousands, for this copy of it. And I actually did show him that the copy has made, the Two of Cups is made out to me, right? He didn't care. Fine. But decks I would never part with. I guess this has to be the number one because, you know, I'm not Jeff Bezos. So, you know, or Elon Musk or whoever. So I'm not, you know. Anyway, I don't want to part with the deck. So it's as simple as that, and I'm not going to. And it was, I mean, he said name your price, so I just didn't have a price, so there it is. So Marco, that's what happened. If you're watching, I'm not sure Marco's watching, but, and that, of course, it comes with the with all the houses and the additions, and you can mix and match it how you want to. You can see here all the additions. All the variations, let's call them. Stunning, right? Stunning. So that's number 1 of decks never leaving my collection. Does that mean people shouldn't reach out to me and say, can I buy this? If you want to reach out, reach out. I don't know. But I doubt any of these 10, highly doubt, would ever, ever, ever leave. So I'm not sure there's any, if that didn't get a price, I'm not sure anything else would get a price. Let's go to emotional reasons, okay? Let's go to you've seen this on my other videos. I will never part with my Mythic Tarot deck because it's the first deck that I ever used. I can't remember if Simon, I keep it in this Aesop bag. Aesop is a beautiful, they do some nice hand washes and things. I always buy them, and some hand creams and stuff. Need a lot of cream when when you're slinging cards all day. It came in this deck in the original box. That's the original book. It's falling apart. I've shown it many times. I did recently, actually, what I haven't shown is, maybe I'll show. I did recently pick up the Simon and Schuster in Australia. This is how I would have seen it in the book store when I bought it. I don't have any of this anymore. I threw it out. This is from eBay, I think. And there it is, Simon and Schuster, Australia. This is not exactly like mine, in that it is the purpler version. It came out in 1986. I think mine might have come out either, well, let's see what the book says, actually. I don't know when it came out, but mine's black backs. 88 is when I got it, obviously. That was my maiden name. Yeah, so this is 1986 as well, but obviously, oh, hold on. Let me just go back. Printing in Hong Kong. Mine's black backs and mine has no date on the backs. That I won't open up because it's a pain to put back in, but the backs are purple. That deck is unused as well, not like this mess. Look at it. Look at it. How self-taught, no date, crappy cardstock. Always used it. Nothing's missing. Nothing's missing. That's what I love about it. I will never part with this deck, nor any of the other. I think I may have 6 versions of it now from that time. Purple backs. I've got another black back without the printing like this of the date or anything like that at the back of it. I mean, I can show it to you, but I mean, that looks great. But I can pick it up to show you what I'm talking about. This is the normal sort of purple backs, and there are back, and you can see the printing on there in terms of when it's printed, and we all hate that, I think. And even with my Rider-Waite decks, I do like the ones without the printing on the side. If I can get them from the 70s or 80s, I do. I've got quite a few versions. So I'm never parting with that deck, or any version of that deck that I've currently bought, because I bought the version for a specific reason, because I sort of want certain versions of that deck. So I'll just, that's the cloth it came in, you know, and it's great for learning because there it is. It sets out that Celtic cross. You can barely see it now because that's the, but it sets it all out for you. So that's what I learnt to read tarot with, and that was my first deck, and that's an RWS system. I didn't know at the time. Well, if we go to just sentimental reasons, well, I'll never part with the deck. I'm not sure Simon really got into that. I mean, you can do another whole video, my sentimental decks, but that means you might have to go into sort of personal stuff in your life. This is my Greenie Thoth from the 80s. These are the backs. these are the additional cards. I put a prayer on one of the blank cards, stuck it on there, the booklet, the covering card, and it's the Greenie Thoth. I think it was about 16 bucks when I bought it. I don't know, Australian dollars, probably 10 American dollars or something. And I used that deck and this deck exclusively. I didn't have any other decks. I came much later to the RW, the yellow box, right, much later. And when I first saw it, I just thought, what the hell is this? This is boring. How wrong I was and how I fell in love with it. Some things are a slow burn, right? This I fell in love with immediately. I just thought it was, the images and everything just captured my eyes, and I will never part with this one. It did have the outside box. I keep it in there. I threw that. I used to throw away all the boxes. Who knew? So that's how it would have looked. So this is just from eBay, and this is another greenie, right? Printed in Belgium, and the one I've got is also printed in Belgium. So I will never part with that Greenie Thoth. But the other one you just saw, if someone wants to give me a price, I'd get rid of it. I'm not attached to it in any way. Do I love the Greenie? Yeah, I guess I do. I do. Do I love it for what it's been? Yes, the green borders are the best. The current, there's another version from AGM that's out now. It's sort of greyish in terms of the borders. I don't love it. I do prefer this, and I prefer this cardstock. I prefer everything about this deck. This is my perfect version of Thoth. Right, perfect version. And I've got the MM Malene decks as well, which I was tossing up bringing them into this, but it's only 10 decks. And these are decks that will never leave my collection. These are decks that will never leave my collection. Only 10 of them. If I did 20, I would have bought some different decks in. The third sentimental one, I guess, is, I've shown this also before. I'm just going to keep it in. My husband, this is what really sort of got my collection journey starting. I got this as a birthday gift. I was browsing. We were on a break. And it all started from this. Alitalia in the 70s. I have a huge love of anything that's from the 70s. And the decks at that time. And I will never, ever part with this deck. One, because it was purchased for me and it was quite expensive. And two, because of the quality of the deck. I don't want a copy of it. I'm not sure I've seen many copies of it. I mean, I don't know if I've got the covering card here at all, if I can get it, because nothing's ever in order, but it probably won't be able to find it. But there were only a limited number of these decks ever made, and they were given to first-class passengers boarding the Alitalia flight. There's a blank one. You do get spare ones. Let's just quickly see, because I know I'm not. Probably won't come. I've got the blue box here. So this is the size of these, how big they are, and the beautiful Alitalia symbol. And I can tell you there weren't that many made. And this particular one, I don't think has ever been used. That box has got a leather covering on it. And travel in those days was something else, you can imagine. And Harry oh, here it is. It opened up to that. So this is number 4204, right? I don't know how many exactly were made. But I just think this is a stunning deck, and I have a penchant, and as you've seen when I went to Il Malangello even, for these type of decks, for these Italian sort of modern art decks. I don't know what to call them. Right. I'm not putting any you know, I mean, I have a liking for these decks, yes. And when I say I don't, I'll never part with certain decks, it's because of the artwork. And really it's only the artwork. I'm very particular about the type of artwork that I like on my decks. And I don't like, you know, I'm not into cheesy, cutesy decks. I mean, I'm not putting those decks down. There's some I do like. The cat ones I can't refuse. I love cats. So, but I'm not into, you know, girls with big heads and big eyes and all that, you know. I find this deeply moving when I'm looking at it. There's a kitsch element, I guess, as well. It looks like it's been done with Sharpies to me, or what we call textures in Australia. So in that, it sort of does have something with the hoi polloi. Which I also love. So that's this deck, and it's not leaving my collection because it began, again, my collecting journey with Ernest and bringing me back to tarot when I stumbled upon this deck. So that is something there that's not going anywhere. I do use it. I do read with it. And it's a pip deck. And I keep saying, oh, the customers don't like pip decks, blah, blah, blah. Some don't. Some are okay with it. A lot of people get engaged with seeing images. But that's just a beautiful deck. So that's, I think, number 3 now of the decks. Let's just move them across because we're making a mess as usual. So that's part of that sentimental journey. Something modern, something different, something I'm never going to part with, something I'm going to buy again as soon as it gets out. Now, Rosa Bay. Rosa Bay. I'm not parting with this Serpentine Tarot. I'm going to buy the other version, that, of course, that she's making because I want to have a look at it. But I think it's one of the most beautiful decks ever created. It speaks to me on 1 million levels. And when I read with it, it's just amazing. And I was so happy that she decided to publish it and come back to us all with the finished product and tell us it's sort of ready. I know you've all seen it because there's been probably so many showings of this, but I'll leave it there because it looks like it's, you know, you can get it currently, but I'm not parting with that deck. That's moved me as much as the Mythic Tarot has moved me. So when I look at it, there is something in it that is nostalgic for me. I can't explain it, and it's very emotional. And both of those decks move me in that way. So that's how many decks now? So 1, 2, 3, 4 decks. 5th deck again by Rose Bay. At some point, what am I going to say? I'm never going to part with the Sistine. 1, because I love it, and 2, because I went through so much when I saw that I missed out on it when she had put it up. And then I did buy it off. I found it off an Australian Facebook tarot site, and luckily the owner had 2 versions. This was unused. It's gorgeous. It's gilded. And, you know, I paid good money for it, but it's worth it. And I mean, it's sort of, I've got to say, it's one of my favourite decks. It was a toss-up, I've got to say, between this one, because I'm limited in terms of how many decks I can show, and some others, but this isn't my favourite decks. If it's my favourite decks, I probably would come into it anyway, but I would be a few other, there would be different decks. But these are for reasons of scarcity. They're not going anywhere. I mean, really, that's the reason. This is so difficult to get. I do love it. I don't know if I had to choose one between this one and the Serpentine. If both were available, I may even choose the Serpentine, because that moves me so much, because it's so mythical in its journey. I love the Greek myths, but this is fantastic as well, and it's not going anywhere because it's too hard to get again. So there's the journey there. Okay, so we do count. We have to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Just make sure we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they're closer to us. Now, we might as well stick with Rosabay, okay? Because even with what we're saying here, a deck I would not part with is my favourite Oracle deck of all time now. With no book or anything. See, Oracles don't need books, which is these Blue Bones. I don't think I've ever come across an Oracle deck that... You've all seen this now, so which has moved me so much. I mean, I'm not speaking because it's just so beautiful. And so, just stunning. I'm not going to go through all the cards. I've got the 2 versions of it. I've got the Herbage version and the Superior Smooth. So I'll just stop there. But that is never going anywhere, and maybe the next video will be I've got some ideas for the next videos, because you know, I want to show the historical. Simon did a great tarot tag too, that, you know, like tarot through history, so showing some decks, but I'd like to show some of my lovely historical decks as well. So okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's 6 now. And number 7 is, look, again, impossible to get, so I'm going to have to put it up here. Spolia Tarot. I'm never going to sort of give this deck up because it's so beautiful. This is the first edition. You've seen it, but I still will get it out, and I hardly use this one, and I'll show you why. You can see it's hardly used because I sort of keep it in pristine condition. And this is printed in Italy, and you know, we all love this deck. Well, I love this deck, and this deck's never leaving my collection. This has to be a deck that's not going anywhere, and a deck I love so much that it's impossible to buy, so I keep it on watch. But I mean, I guess if you want to pay good money, it might be there. But I wouldn't, again, I wouldn't sell it even if someone made me the offer. And I'm going to try and keep this video not too long. I mean, but when I say I've got 2 copies, I don't want you all thinking, oh. What happened is this was the second copy I bought. I'm just going to not try and squeeze it back in that box because it's not, some of those tuck boxes are not great. This is the first copy I got, right? Because I really wanted the deck and I never got it when it was, you know, when she was selling it. So this is the second edition. And you might see from some of the cards that have already spilled out that this is trimmed. And this is the deck I use when I read with this deck, especially for me. This is the trimmed spolia, right? Because someone who, and some of these aren't, I edged it in purple because of the backs. But someone obviously didn't like the edging in it and trimmed it. Now, I still love using it and I prefer to use this version of it than the other one because I just want to keep the other one as long as I can in that nice condition. And this is just a beautiful deck. I do prefer this deck with borders because I think it does draw you into the artwork. But whatever, it's just too stunning, you know. And it's, you know, it's like a Michiati deck, okay? So it's got astrological cards and it's got elemental cards. So it's more than, it's 90 something, I think. It's more than just the tarot. But yeah. So I sort of really get into using this one. And I'll never part with, actually, I'm showing you this, but it's really one deck. But I would never part with the 2 versions I've got because, as I said, the cardstock is not as hardy as maybe you'd prefer. And one printing is in Italy, and I think this second edition is printed in Canada, which is interesting because this one does seem slightly, now that I'm touching it, if I'm really looking at it and feeling it, this one does seem a bit hardier than the Italian version. There's sort of more of a coating on it, but don't quote me on that. That's how I feel it. This also fits, well, I'm not going to try. It does fit easier into the tuck box. Yeah. Actually, yes, correct. See this matter papery. This has got a thickness to it and is just slightly more satiny, smooth. It's a hardier version. This is less hardy. So I'm glad that if one's chopped, it's the hardier one that's been chopped. So that's there as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is number 8 now. Now number 8 may surprise you because it's already been shown in the last video I did, and I don't do that many videos. So this is the Bohemian Cats Theatre Tarot. Yes, the box doesn't, this is the enormous size. I think this is the size. They're the extra cards you get with a lot of their decks. So I've just put them in that box. I'll never part with this. I love cat decks. They're my favourite thing in terms of if I want light decks. These are the best in terms of size. I think I showed in my last video, but those who haven't seen. And, you know, it's not an out of print deck, but we know Barber Studios, that's the size. We know what they're like. So I don't know about the size. My goodness, these are a mess. And what's still available, because I've got this. I've got both sizes. I've got the standard and I've got the Gigantor size. Am I going to keep both of them? Yep. Because I can't really read. I mean, this is for looking at it. It's like an oracle, as you saw. But, I mean, can I read with it? Yes. But sometimes, depending on what I'm reading on and how much room I've got, right? But never giving this up. This is one of the most beautiful things ever created. And I've got other Baba Studio decks, but to me, this is the one. If I had to hold one, I'd hold this one. And again, the video is not going to show the true beauty of the cold stamping. But it's there and it's stunning. So I would never part with that deck. It's just gorgeous. And I love it. And I know that, you know, odds are that once it sort of disappears, it will cost a fortune to try and find. Not impossible, but it's not ever going to go anywhere. If I had to choose one of the two sizes that I had to part with, I'd keep the big one. Get rid of the little one. Not that it's little, it's standard, but that's in the black box currently. So yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 more. Okay, I think 2 more decks never leaving my collection are, well, I'm like, you know, Ethel Cocoon is really, this is never ever leaving my collection. I think this is one of the most unique decks around. I've got the book to it from Fulgur Press in the indigo cover. I'm not going to go and get it now. Again, you've probably all seen this, but it goes in and out of print. Again, if I got an offer, I don't care if it's in or out of print, it's not going. I don't care what the offer would be. It appeals to me in so many ways. The Hermit, the Prophet of the Eternal, the Magus of the Voice of the Power. Princess of Wands, the Princess of the Shining Flame, the Rose of the Palace of Fire. I mean, honestly. King of Cups, the Lord of Waves and the Waters, the King of the House of the Sea. It's just a romance, honestly. It's a romance. It's eternal. It's cosmic. It's about something cosmic and something that you get such a close-up of that you lose what it is and it goes abstract. Right? I think it's very interesting for me to look at tarot in that way, because that's what you're doing. You're investigating and interpreting the soul. So you're going from the mask, breaking through that into the soul of another person when you're reading for them. And depending on how, you know, how you read, but really, that's what you're trying to crack open. I think there's an Antonioni film from the 60s called Close Up. Or Blow Up, sorry. Blow Up. And it's about a photographer, and he starts blowing up a picture he took of a crime. And the more he sort of blows the picture up, the more the pixelated picture loses its definition and gets quite blurry. And I think the more you try to get to the truth of something, you think that you can get in, and sometimes it becomes blurrier and a completely different story to one that you had imagined. And that's where that film is absolutely fascinating, in terms of the surface of things. And somehow this deck for me is from that era. Through the colours, I love the colours, you know, and I love what I'm seeing and what Ethel's attempting, what she's trying to do with this deck. And I probably do want a backup of it, to be honest. I'm thinking about that as well, just having a second copy. I do have quite a few decks where I have second copies of the same deck, because I'm just such a collector and I'm absolutely nuts. But I guess that's the truth of it. Now, in terms of the last one, I think I'm on, that was number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, one more. I couldn't make up my mind. It is between these two decks. So it is going to be, I think I've done 10 actually, because I must have done, where's Marco's deck? What have I done with it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and Marco's is 10. So I'm going to have to do an honorary 11. But I don't even know what, oh, there it is. It's on the other side. So I'm going to have to do an honorary 11th deck. Let's stick to that with 1111, right? Yeah. So if we take these blue bones out, we can have 10. But these blue bones is an oracle deck. But I didn't sort of divide it up into 10 let's divide it up into 10 tarot decks, and maybe I do another one, 10 oracle decks, which you all know these blue bones will enter. So because I really did think that this deck would never leave my collection, and I mean, the tarot, I can't go without mentioning the Tarot of Delphi. Now, it was a big decision between that and the Majestic Earth, and the only reason I'm not picking the Majestic Earth is it is easier to get. I do see it pop up. So would it leave my collection? I think it's still gettable, and it's not as scarce. This is scarce. This is impossible to get, like really difficult. So let's say we're doing 10 decks, and these blue bones is going to have to go into a oracle. Let's divide it up into an oracle. Decks never leaving my collection. Cardstock is great. It's glossy. I love glossy. Love glossy. I like smooth because, ooh, well, pick. Sometimes I'm doing 10 reads a day and I'm saying pick a card to the clients, and when I can't do that, because I like the client to pick a card, I don't pick the card, and I like to do that on a shuffle like that, a shuffle and a fan, right? Now, when you can't fan the cards out, which happens, okay, let me just show you quickly. Let me just show you what happens. I've just bought this deck recently. I thought, let's give it a go. Let's see what it looks like, right? DeBright. I like DeBright, I'm not saying. But when you try and put it out, it is a problem, right? You have to sort of slowly do it because it gets stuck because it's thick. It has to get good use. That's probably not a great example because I've been using it. But if it's smooth or glossy, not sticky, it does move properly. But getting back to the issue of the beauty of this deck, and the fact is I've been asked to sell this as well, not as, not with crazy dollars, I mean big prices, but not as crazy as Marco's, and I would never part with this deck because of its beauty, because it's the best of its kind in terms of the curated art decks. I don't think anyone's picked better imagery for each card and better cardstock and better size. I mean, look at that death card. I think it's a brilliant deck. And I think I'm privileged to have this and many other decks. I mean, that Five of Cups is perfect. Now, obviously, as I said, I didn't put a Rider-Waite deck in here because I think even with the Blushing Fools that I have, you can still get them. And for not an unreasonable... I mean, yes, they're expensive, but they're not out of this world. And they pop up. If you look it up, you'll get it. Same with the Hoi Polloi. If you look it up, you'll get it. Now, here's... you can't find these decks, so I'm not parting with them because I can't get them again. Or if I do, it's going to be, a struggle. I love that. Cleopatra, Ace of Swords. Hopefully you've all seen this deck, and I hope I'm not upsetting people who do want it, but the tag was decks that will never leave my collection. So there's no price tags for these decks. That's really what I'm saying, because they're not going anywhere. I don't care. I want the deck. I don't want the money. I've always been heart-based. I've always made no sense to most people because of that. I make sense to me. That's what matters. Totally heart-based, every decision I make. So let's say 10 decks. We'll have to wipe these blue bones out as a tarot deck, and I'll make another... if I do get time, I'll make another post quickly in terms of the 10 Oracle decks. And if I get time this afternoon, which I think I might because I'm having the quietest afternoon that I've had in a long time, I'll come back and do that. Okay? Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope this has been... I hope I've lived the tag of how we want the tag, how you expected the tag to be, because I saw it to... decks never leaving my collection, and that's what I had to say about it. So until next time, thank you. Bye.